Hawks.
Hello guys, finally today is the day in which I'm gonna take this beauty 535 diesel with 272 horsepower original to the chip tuner, and I'm hoping for 360-380 horsepower, somewhere in this range. And I can't wait actually to see what will happen with the torque and the speed, acceleration. I'm super excited to see what will happen when this car got some performance remap made by some touring remapper. And let's go, not waste more time. Let's go drive this car to the mapper and let's see the result after that. I'm super excited. Let's go, guys. So let's go have this baby remapped and let's see what will happen with the power figures. Car is currently not stock. It doesn't have a remap on the ECU, but it has a remap on the gearbox. It also has a Wagner Intercooler installed in the front. Official Wagner Intercooler, not the Chinese one. Also it has DPF off and cuts removed, so it can flow easily. Sorry ecologists. Okay, the next thing, I said it has Wagner Intercooler installed. It has no any DPFs. Actually, this car has Swirl Flaps removed. Also, it has a rear exhaust only. Everything else from the turbo to the back is free flow exhaust. Also, I have to say that this car has a pretty big standard exhaust system. It has 70mm, so it's pretty enough for around 400 horsepower. Bang, bang, Chris bang. Okay, let's put my seatbelt on. I agree. Also, the car has a Pipercross sport air filter, so it can breathe easily. It can breathe and it can inhale and exhale easily. And that's it. I think that nothing else except changed filters, oils, and etc. This is, I think, that is part of the maintenance, so I will not discuss it here more. But in the mean of tuning, it's this: free flow exhaust, sport filter in the original box, Pipercross from eBay, and no cuts, no DPF, and some remap on the gearbox, but not a very hard one, so we can keep the gearbox strong for longer. This guy there has a dyno, so we can actually measure what we'll achieve from the remap. If everything goes fine, we can expect from 360 to 380 horsepower. I don't want to push this car too much because I want to stay in the safe haven, in the safe zone where you wouldn't burn your turbos or got so high temperatures in the exhaust chambers inside the engine, because if you got too much EGT, you can damage your engine when full throttle. If it smokes too much, in order to have 10 or 20 horsepower more, you can actually destroy your engine, and it's actually not worth it, because it doesn't matter if they are 370 or 390. It's so little difference in such a big car with an automatic transmission that I prefer to, and I advise you to stay actually below this maximum limit of the parts of the engine, because if you need more, you need actually hybrid turbos, some better ERP bolts on the heads, and some other slight modifications. So, but however, of course, if you boost too much, the boost can reach 2.5 bars, which actually really large amount of boost. You can it's a 15 years old car. We shouldn't forget that, and all the parts are worn out. It's not brand new, and it wouldn't hold the pressure so good. So we have to be staying in the safe zone. That's what I'm going to say to the guy. Okay guys, I almost reached the place. After taking my car, I'll make video with my opinion about what I feel, about how the car feels. I'll make acceleration video, and I'll tell you more about how it feels to have this B-turbo beast BMW M57 535 diesel car boosted to the maximum. Okay guys, I have left the car, and now I'm going to the other car. The guy says 4 or 5 hours and we'll have a result with the tuning. We would have some gains, I hope, some big gains. He said that originally 272 horsepower diesel works on 1.8, 1.9 bar boost, so we'll go up to 2.2 or 2.3 bars, which is still in the safe maximum zone. So I talked to him also to not to make the exhaust temperature too high, so we should keep the turbos not so hot, and the engine also, the inside engine gas exhaust temperature. And he said that he will take in mind that, and I didn't want to smoke too much, so he would consider when making the remap this one also. So I'm now waiting for the good news. Hope everything will be fine, fingers crossed, and no any issues will come out while dynoing, because you know it's an old car. When you push to the limits, the parts, everything can blow up, can blow some hoses, from hose to some other parts. So we should be careful when, and how careful can you be? The most important thing is to fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Yeah. Okay. However, I'll go now, and after I have a call, I'll go to take the beauty and see what. Just took the car from the mapper, and it has been dynographed, so I have a dynograph with the results of the map, and actually the result is pretty acceptable, pretty nice. This car was able to achieve 370 horsepower and 750 Newton meters of torque. That's an engine power. We can calculate this power after having these numbers here, which are on wheels. So we have 225 kilowatts, which should be multiplied by 1.36 to see that we have 306 horsepower on the rear wheels, because it's a rear wheel drive car. So we have this beautiful graph. I will post it, but we can easily see that that's the wine. The black wine is the power before, and the red line is the power after the remap. Car actually turned out to be 330 horsepower, so the previous owner and the modifications, which are Wagner Intercooler, DPF off, cut off, and Pipercross Airfilter, these modifications has actually gained together with some remap, which was lighter remap, not a hard remap, has gained some horsepower. Factory, you know, it's 272. We had 330 on the dyno. Here the black wine here shows the original power before the remap, and after the remap we have 370 horsepower here after 3,500 RPM. Here we have
a nice more than 200 kilowatts, which are consistent here until 4 and 4.67 thousand RPM. It actually can rev up to 5,000 RPM, which is very nice in this older engine. And so we actually have a really different car now. Really the difference really comes after 3.5 thousand RPM here, where we have really a different graph before. Also the torque, we can look at the torque. It's quite bigger in all places of the graph. So actually the map is really good. Actually the car, the mapper said he could make 10 or 15 or maybe 20 horsepower more, but it will have to push the fuel pump, the fuel ray, the nozzles. We have to push these components too much. Of course the turbos, we should push them more to get such a little gain, 10-15 horsepower, and it's not worth it after 370 horsepower in the current setup. If we want more, we should have hybrid turbos at least, in order to achieve somewhere around 400 horsepower in this older pre-LC engine. And I didn't want it to have a car which should cool down after every race, after every kick down. I wanted to have a car which I can continue to drive like a stock one, with full throttle on the highway for some minutes, without worrying about being a high exhaust temperature in the engine. And so that's why I decided not to push to the limits the stock parts. Maybe someday if I put a hybrid turbo, I can lift up a little bit the boost more and the fuel, and we can reach 400 horsepower. But however, this is really an awesome amount of power and torque. So for now it's pretty enough. 10 to 20, 30 horsepower wouldn't be so much different, and would destroy the gearbox much faster. So I think this is somewhere in the perfect maximum, safety maximum for this car. I felt the car really different, not in the middle range of the RPM, not so much, but however it's also become more aggressive in there. However, I felt the difference after 3,000 RPM, where the car really stretched the power very nice, and the gains there are brutal. And I tried DTC off and sport mode, full throttle, and the asphalt wasn't very good quality, but however I got the rear end spinning all around, and I'm trying to fix with the wheel to fix the position, and that was until maybe 80 or 90 kilometers per hour. So the car has real power now. The rear difference actually comes on the big open roads, because in the city it's hard to hit so much RPMs. The gears here are really long, and so I'm really happy actually about the remap. I received some really nice figures, and now for your information, I can say that the car is at the moment it's tuned to have a boost pressure of the turbos, 2.1 maximum boost pressure. The stock one is somewhere around 1.8, 1.9 bar. So now it's 2.1 bar, which is not so much as a gain if we think of it as a percent of the original one. So I think it's pretty nice, because we have small boost gain, but we have almost 100 horsepower more than the stock one, which is awesome. Also about the fuel pressure, this one has a rail sensor for 1800 bars, and this is the maximum rail pressure. Stock it's running on 1600 bars, and now the mapper said that he had done it to reach 1700 bars. So we are in the safety margin. We have some additional margin to the maximum, and if we lived with 50 more, and if we had hybrid turbos to put, because at this power the turbos become ineffective, and you have to put a lot of more boost to achieve just 10 or 20 horsepower, which is not worth breaking your turbos and your engine in a row with such higher boost to achieve just 10 horsepower, and the smoke will start to become. So I didn't like too much smoke. That means higher temperature in your engine when putting a hard acceleration and when putting the pedal to the metal too often. So I wanted pretty stable software, and that's the maximum my mapper advised me to do it. Well, if we had hybrid turbo, maybe we can put 0.1, 0.2 boost more, and we can achieve 400 horsepower. But for now it's pretty enough. I have to get used to this power, and it's really a huge amount of power, so I'm not missing this 20-30 horsepower. Actually, the after LC model, the after facelift model, have better fuel distribution and better different piezo nozzles, which can easily achieve, and the turbos are quite different, and it can easily achieve 390-400 horsepower with these modifications which I had on this car. So actually 20-30 horsepower difference is the difference at this stage between this pre-LC and the LC model. But however, here the engine block is much stronger. It's not aluminum like the next one, so I prefer this one. Also, for the gearbox, some people say that this pre-LC model doesn't hold so much pressure. However, if you have a good mapper, not to put too much stress on the gearbox in the low RPMs, and if you drive carefully, when step on it, put on sport mode and manually adjust the RPM. Never put full throttle on too low RPMs, because you destroy with the higher, you know, your maximum, the maximum torque of this car is somewhere after 2000 RPM. So you have to be after this, or at this point when starting to accelerate hard, in order not to damage, not to put so much stress on the gearbox. So the car, when was 330 horsepower, it made 6.3 seconds to 100 kilometers. So I am curious to see what will happen now, how it will accelerate on the highway, and how much time we will take to get to 100. Maybe it will be 5 point something, I hope. We'll check that in our next video. So I'm pretty excited about this software now, but in the city it's hard to use this amount of power actually, in a real-wheel drive car especially. So I have to go somewhere extra urban and to see what has happened with these bees. But I'm pretty excited for now. What I paid for the remap, I paid 250 euro, and that's with the dyno before and dyno after. So it's pretty good price for such a remap. And that's for now. Thank you for watching. Watch our other videos, driving videos, acceleration videos. Soon will be some more video about driving this tuned 535 diesel, which was my long wished car, to have it tuned like this, to have such a nice torquey beast with B-turbo engine. So thank you guys, subscribe, like, share. Bye for now.